The most advanced meme coin trading bot right now is BullX Neo, but most people are still not using this tool the way it was intended. They're not using some of the new advanced features. So from a beginner perspective now, I'm going to show you how to use all these features. And we're just going to talk about the basics in this video. We're just going to talk about how to avoid getting rugged, what are the stats and figures to look at, how to set up your buying and your selling, in terms of understanding the fees, how to set up your priority bribery fee, and how to put automatic stop losses, automatic take profit targets. This is all essential, especially if you're holding a newish coin overnight. You ideally want all of this stuff in place to ensure you don't get caught out. The link to the new version of BullX Neo is in the description and pinned comments. And if you use my link there, you'll skip the waitlist and you'll get a 10% off all of the trading fees as well. Now the default homepage is this Neo Vision, but you can also find it if you just scroll here on the left hand side, and fourth one down, that tab is Neo Vision. And these are coins that are not only pump.fun, but also, for example, moonshot coins as well. And you can filter this. So the first thing you want to do, for example, if you want to concentrate on pump.fun coins, where the majority of the volume is, and that's where you get the crazy runs, you get coins running from literally nothing all the way up to hundreds of millions. Obviously, that's a very small percentage of coins, but at least you know the volume is there to carry any coin that's doing well. So you'll come over to dexes here, and then you can just select pump.fun, for example. Now in each of these sections, the left one, the middle one, and the right one, you can set up your own filters, and we'll go through that today as well. But the first thing I want you to note, and we're just going to open a random coin here so I can illustrate that. When you're trading these new coins, you want to get onto a smaller time frame. So when they're brand new launches, it has to be a 1 second chart. Has to be a 1 second. And then if it's a coin that's been around for at least half an hour or longer, then you can move out to a 15 second or 30 second chart. Rarely it's more than that, unless the coin was launched weeks or months ago. Next thing is, when you start trading meme coins, there's no really demo way to do it that I'm aware of. However, when you're trading, you want to trade with real emotions. So the way you can kind of mimic a demo is by trading small, really small positions. Like if you're ready right now to put one soul in any position, which is around $200, don't do it. Go much smaller than that. You'll be giving up in fees. However, whilst you're learning, you don't really want to blow up all of your trading budget, because there's a lot of learning involved. If you're brand new, you will give money back to the market. When I say back to the market, a lot of the time it's just the rugs and insiders who launch these coins that you're giving back to, because obviously this coin has rugged significantly, and very likely there was a lot of insider buying and selling going on, and we'll have a look at that later in the video, exactly how to spot that. But just be aware of that. Next thing, BullX is very advanced now in terms of the summary page on the first page here. So you get the summary charts and you get loads and loads of other important data points. This is key, because this first section of what you're doing, this is known as scanning. You're going to scan to filter out the noise and look for a coin that might be worth trading and will give you an opportunity. So I've just added a kind of keyword search there, which you can do in filters, basically just to pause the screen so we can have a look at these numbers in more detail. You've got the name of the coin here, when it was launched, so this was 15 hours ago, what the top 10 holders are, which is 18%, which is about okay. Now, what do you want in terms of time frames and top 10 holders? Well, let me just give you a ballpark, give you an idea. So for the first one, if it's brand new launches that you're watching, you don't want a coin to have been struggling there for days and only be at this market cap, like 45,000 market cap. You obviously want it to gather a lot of momentum. Why? Well, basically, if anybody sees this coin when it first launches, and then after a few minutes, more people see it, and then more people see it. If it's a genuinely good meme coin, for whatever reason, maybe it's an AI coin with loads of utility, maybe it's just something hilarious and funny, very much in keeping with what the narrative or meta is right now, then you're going to realize it quickly, and this coin is going to pump very, very quickly. So it's not going to stay here on about to graduate at 45k market cap. It's going to go much further than that. So that's why usually we put time constraints. We don't want to see anything that's older than 30 minutes or an hour languishing in these areas. And with top 10 holders, it varies, but right at the beginning, when there's fresh new launches, generally you don't want holding to be high at all. You want it to be very, very low. Later on, sometimes if the coin's doing well and you get whales kind of aping into it, you can sometimes get numbers higher, 20, 25%, 30%. That is still okay. Next one is dev selling. And if the dev's holding a percentage, you'll see it here. For example, if they hold 5%, this will say 5% here rather than 0. Now, if they've sold their position or they never bought in the first place, it will show 0%. This is key when we look at the charts in just a minute. So we'll discuss that later because it affects the strategy we use when it comes to trading the meme coins. This is the sniper number here. And again, with this one, basically you just don't want too much sniping off the bat for a brand new token. But this data point I wouldn't worry about. It's very difficult to correlate this strongly with if a coin is going to pump or not going to pump. It's much more important to look at things like insider count, which we'll talk about in just a minute. You've got the holders here, 133. This is an important one. This is the number of holders or traders that actually have trading bots like this, like BullX or Photon or Trojan or something like that, rather than just random fresh wallets aping in. And the theory behind this is basically if there's legitimate, real, regular buyers buying this coin, then it's a very good sign, rather than if it was at 45k market cap and this number was like 1 or 2. That's obviously a very bad sign. And then you've got the volume here, obviously, which is 13,000. And you've got the socials here. You can see right there. And you have a summary chart, which we'll have a look at in just a minute on a few of the other coins. And obviously, they should really have a logo as well. All of the pump.fun ones will have logos on their profile. This I'm not really concerned myself with, but basically on pump.fun, the number of chat messages in that particular thread, it's outlined here. So if there's, you could argue that if there's a coin that's very, very popular, that this number would be higher. But again, that thread, nobody really uses that to make trading decisions. It's mostly kind of people just being scammy, saying the dev's out now, it's a CTO, blah, 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 stuff like that. I wouldn't waste any time reading any of that. You actually don't need to go onto the pump.fun site at all when it comes to trading meme coins. I certainly don't. This was where I put the keyword search, which was basically for that coin horizon. So if I remove that, click apply, we'll see it populate again. Now the summary charts I've discussed before, but basically they can sometimes give you an idea of if a coin is looking a little bit scammy in terms of how it's launched. But you can also tell, like I said, from these other numbers. There's another number here with the rat sign here. That's an insider wallet holding. You don't want that to be too high. For example, this one is 69%, which is very high. So very likely this is a scam. And also, interestingly, have a look at this at 47k market cap. How many actual regular traders are there? Out of all the 300 odd holders, there's only 9 that use things like Trojan and BullX and stuff like that. It's a very, very low number compared to the number of holders. So there's so many signs there that this is not a legit coin. The top 10 holding is not a problem. It's only 6%. So a lot of people on other tools, not BullX, but other tools that don't have this type of information, they will miss this. And that's why I don't use Photon at all anymore. I use primarily BullX, and I advise you do the same because it just gives you that much more of an edge, that much more information when it comes to trading meme coins. We're going to click on this chart now and have a quick look at the chart as well. Now let's talk about dev buying and selling whilst we're on this page. So in a nutshell, at the beginning, when the coin is launched, that's usually when the dev has made first purchase. So you'll see a sign DB there. And by the way, if you click on display options here, you can add that. You can add your trades, tracked wallets, your orders, limit orders, which we'll get on to in just a minute, and then dev trades as well. So you can actually add those here. So you'll see a DB sign for dev trades. So usually dev buys at the beginning. Now the dev can sell very quickly after launching just to make a few bucks. Many of them do. In my opinion, and I've mentioned this before in videos, but if it's a meme coin that's just generally like a dog or cat meme coin or a new narrative meta coin, something that's popular at the moment, and it's just meant to be funny and awesome because of the very topic that it's describing, then after the dev sells, the coin can still do really well. Sometimes even better because the dev sold, because you don't need the dev to work on it or do anything. You just need a community. So you just need more mind share on Twitter, for example. However, if it's a utility coin, like an AI coin, where you're seeing a website and you can create your own AI agent or something like that, if the devs disappeared, then you're in trouble because the dev was the person who was supposed to work on this utility project. So that's obviously a very bearish sign. So in terms of dev buying and selling, it really depends. But be careful. The other things that devs have started doing is they know people are just looking for the DB sign and the DS sign. So what they'll do is they'll sell, dev sell, but they'll only sell part of their position. So again, that's where BullX is really good. If you scroll down to the bottom here and click on where it says dev tokens, next to top traders here, dev tokens, click on that, and then you can see here exactly what the situation is with the dev holding of this particular coin. So this coin was called MMC here at the top, and you can see the amount is 0. Now whether the devs making money on this particular coin doesn't matter, because if they're doing an outright rug, they're using insiders here, insider wallets. You can see here at the bottom right. In this bottom right section, you get the same information, but you can just see a quick snapshot. Dev holding, which we know is 0%, but the insider holding, that was very, very high. And obviously the number of people actually using bots like BullX and stuff is very, very low. So many, many signs there. So you really shouldn't get scammed by these coins now, because you have so many different warnings. So now you can work with me and just have a look at these numbers, and let's have a look at Captai here. 74% insiders, very, very high. Bot users, actual genuine regular buyers, extremely low for compared to the holders. Chart looks like a scammy chart. It just keeps going up. It's not an organic looking chart. Let's just zoom into the chart so you can see. Which chart have you ever seen just going up in a straight line like that? Let's zoom out a little bit. See, anything that off launch just goes straight to 30k, already a scam already. And then this incessant like kind of bot buying all the way up, scam. So this is obviously going to rug very soon. So many warnings here. So with BullX, you really can't go wrong in terms of missing all of these signs. There's not one sign here. There's like 5, 6 different signs here that this is an obvious rug. So you shouldn't be, like, you're going to give money back to the market when you're learning meme coins, especially if you're a beginner watching this video, fine. But you don't want to give them to devs that launch stuff like this, which is so obviously a rug. Now, when it comes to using filters, so many different filters you could do, different strategies you can use. Don't lose sleep over this. Play around with different ones and see what works well for you. Some people prefer not to over filter because they're more experienced and they just want to click on everything that comes up and consider it for a purchase. Some people like to have more filtering because they don't like to see too many coins here. So I would recommend usually add one social. Dev holding, if it's like more than 15% or something, the coin just doesn't make sense anyway. Holders, it has to have at least 100 if it's a coin that you're thinking could potentially migrate. We're talking about the middle column now. So things that could potentially migrate. Insider wallets, you don't want to be messing about with anything around 25% or more. Bot users, again, out of that 100, like you need at least 25 or something like that being genuine regular buyers. And we can do other things as well. So for example, market cap, anything, you know, under 6,500 is probably rugged already anyway, and volume, we can put like 10,000 there as well. So something like that. And in terms of token age, like I said, maximum, I don't want to be messing with anything that's more than 45 minutes long and it's not bonded already because it's not really trending. You could increase this a bit to 60 minutes or 90 minutes, but in my opinion, for a real momentum coin, it should really get there faster. So I'm going to click apply here, and you can see when you're doing extra filtering, you get to only 1 or 2 coins. Now, obviously, we can extend the time frame as well. So you can take this out to, let's say, 70. But it just shows you how few genuine coins there are when you really filter the important stuff. And here you can see in terms of number of bot users, very realistic. Volume looks quite high as well. Holders high. Insiders very low. Devs already sold. So potentially, if it's a decent enough meme, it could be a CTO type meme where a community could potentially carry it. This is the type of stuff you need to be looking at. And if you're brand new and you just want to avoid all of the scams and over filter a little bit, I would advise you using these types of filters. So you can see dev bought and dev sold, but remember, just to be on the safe side, you can check dev tokens here and confirm that they're holding nothing now. And by the way, you can see other coins as well that the devs previously launched as well. So you can have a look at that too. Now in this, if you're buying, so you've got buy settings here, very, very easy. You just type in here, for example, let's say I was buying 1 Solana. I could just click buy and it's done. So we've just bought 1 Solana of this particular coin. Now, if I want to set up a stop loss, so let's say I'm looking at this chart and I'm like, remember, this is very early days. So when the coins are pre kind of migration and stuff like that, remember, I've not even looked at socials or anything. We're just using this as an example. They tend to range, the ones that don't immediately get to bonding, because you're getting a lot of people taking profits before here. So usually you're better off kind of buying the range lows if you think it has legs and could reach kind of migration. We'll see how this one goes. But if I wanted to set up a stop here, it's very easy. So if I wanted to say, look, you know, around 27k or something like that, so about, you know, 30-40% down, I don't want to be involved in that. If price drops there, I click on limit here, click on sell, then limit. And then what I can do here, I've got the sell bar, so I can literally move the actual sell bar rather than type in the market cap if I want to. So moving the sell bar down just below that swing kind of low here. So I've set it there at minus 39%. So So it's already set the market cap for me. So it's a little bit easier rather than having to read it off the chart. That's the other thing I like about BullX. The chart is very detailed in terms of numbers. If you look on Photon here, you can't even see the numbers properly on this right hand side of the chart. So especially for lower market caps, it made it very, very tricky to trade accurately. Now here, if I want to sell 100%, I click 100% and I click on the sell button, and that order is placed. So I made my buy there, and I've got the sell below this swing low here. So everything's set up. So if the price does drop and it doesn't work out with this particular coin, no problem. Not the end of the world. I'll move on to another coin. Now with this particular one, I can see here how much I'm invested, which is basically one Solana, which at the moment, the value is about $180, something like that. And you've got all of the other info here, which I've shown you before. Top 10, insider holding, dev holding, stuff like that. So all of that's there. So basically my strategy here, I mean, again, you'd want to buy kind of range lows, is see if it gets to migration and then sell immediately after, especially on the initial pump after migration. Now, if it doesn't work out from here and price just keeps dropping off, even though the coin's getting very low volume, you could just move on. That's what I would do. Just sell, break even, small profit, small loss, just move on to the next coin. This is how to trade the kind of about to graduate area. This is how I would approach it. Now, there's no point talking about take profits here because there's nothing, like we need to get migrated on this particular coin if it's going to really run. But if you were doing that, you can also set up the same limit orders for take profit targets, and you can add them here too. If you scroll down here and you click on this little icon here, you can see what your buys, sell settings, stuff like that is here. And for the buy settings, you can see already MEV protection is enabled for buying and selling. I would recommend keeping that on. The kind of typical settings are anywhere from 10% to 30% buy slippage, priority fee 0.01, and bribery 0.01. You can make them lower as well, so you can test that. So if you're on a very, very low budget and you only want to buy for like $30, $40 or $25 and sell for the same amounts, then you can test these at lower. You can go 0.05 and just see if your transactions are going through. Now, day by day, it kind of changes. It depends on how many other people you're competing to make that buy, purchase, or sell kind of decision. So it depends how many people you're competing with when it comes to buying and selling. But let me just give you a little brief overview of how it works with the kind of fees here, so it makes more sense. So let's say you're buying for $50 into this new coin. So what you'll be doing is you're going to pay a few things. You're going to pay the tool that you're using a certain percentage. So that could be, for example, with BullX, if you use my link, it will be a lower rate of 0.9% typically. So 0.9%. Then you're going to be paying usually a very small charge to pump.fun. It can be around 2%, something like that, especially pre kind of migration. And then you've got the priority fee, which you can see here, this priority fee. So how much your kind of transaction is prioritized compared to other people. So you've got that there too. So those are the basic ones. And then what happens after that is you've got this bribery fee here as well, and MEV protection. With MEV protection, simply put, people can't see where you're buying or selling, so they can't front run your trade, which is what a lot of bots do now, just to make those small percentages on everybody's trading. So when they know you're buying $50, it goes through a kind of ledger thing where they can see your transaction coming up, and they jump ahead of you to buy it before you, so that they can basically sell on you and dump on you at a slightly higher price. Again, we can go into that in a lot more detail. We don't need to. Just generally, you'd want to keep, especially for buying, you want to keep it enabled. And to make sure with it enabled, your transaction is preferred, that's when we're talking about bribery fee. Which again, if your transaction is not going through, you can kind of increase that a little bit as well if you want to. Anyway, let's get back to the charts now and see what's happening, because I think this has migrated. And just so you know, again, if you're brand new, from graduate, we go to migrated when any of these coins get a Radium liquidity pool. So when they get the proper liquidity pool, that's when, again, it gets more eyeballs on it. It gets real liquidity added, and potentially the coin can then either just dump from there and not do very well, or it can run into the millions as well, which obviously a smaller percentage do, many don't, but that's the potential. Now, I'm actually still on the same chart, and all of this trading now is still happening on the exact same chart. Now, usually where I'd want to sell is that initial pump, but we've missed that now whilst I was doing the video. So we'll just keep an eye on it. But basically, a typical place where you might want to take profit is 90 to 100. Now, sometimes it can pump obviously a lot higher than that. So I kind of missed that there. Otherwise, it would have been an easy 2x, but never mind. Like I said, for the sake of the video here, I've got my automatic stop loss. I'm probably just actually going to keep that stop loss and see what happens here. Now, this could actually dip a lot lower. And like I said, if it takes out my stop, so be it. So you can see my order is complete. So I actually don't have a position in this now. So I actually took a loss there of $70. But that's what the stop loss is exactly there for. So if you can't keep an eye on the screen or the price action is just moving too quickly, you can set that automatic stop loss there. Now, can this coin run? Like I said, we've not even had a look at the coin. A lot of it we're just doing based on the chart. Let me just remove some of the drawings here. Now, usually when coins dip that low, it's kind of hard, kind of unlikely. So a little trick as well for these types of coins. Now, again, it depends on Solana price, but wherever the bonding price is, which is around the 60,000 area, after bonding, if the coin is decent and it runs, usually to, kind of 2x bonding, so 120K, let's say, and then it gets a dip, which again is completely typical. Everybody wants to take profits. If it finds support at previous highs before bonding, or where the bonding is, the level, like around 60,000, that's very bullish. That's potentially an opportunity to buy after it's graduated there at 60. And then I've seen many coins from that kind of platform level run thereafter. So there's a little tip there for the freshly graduated ones. And you can see them on the main page here as well. So if you look on the right hand side, these are the ones that have graduated. So let's see if we can find one that's got decent market cap. So this one seems to have ran all right in terms of market cap. Let's have a look at this one. We're now on a 15-second chart, so larger time frame chart. Here you go. So look at this. So this one, again, like I said, just a random one I clicked on. It looks like it hit bonding here. Where did it run to initially? It ran to, well, between 120 and 140. And then it pulled back. Where did it get support? Look at that, 68K. So if it dumps through that, it's a worse sign. But if it gets support there, and then you can trade it from there, so that's 70K. And then look where it ran to, like 500K, and it still seems to be running. So you could do that here too. And you can actually set up, like even in filters here, we could do a lot of the same filters. But here the slight difference is what you might want to do in terms of market cap. Just put that minimum. Just put something like 55. So you don't want anything below 55. Assume that that's already failed. Token age, nothing too old. Let's say 3 hours, so 180 minutes. Yeah, let's actually play around with this. So we'll just put insider supply there, and dev holding, don't really care about, just don't want it to be crazy high. Bot users minimum, let's say 200, because it's now graduated. Let's just go with that for now and see where we get to. And I'm having a quick look at the summary charts as well, just to see if anything's holding okay. Have a quick look at this one, Bimple. This had a very high run to 260, bounced at around 60, just under actually, 59K. Ran again to near 500, and now dumped through, and it's kind of below bonding support. That's what I'd probably call it. So may struggle from here now, but yeah, there's some opportunities here. And to be honest, the about to graduate, that's personally my favorite. I don't really trade a lot of the brand new creations. It's just too much noise, and there's too many that you're going to fail on. Whereas with graduated, you have a little bit more time to take your trade. You could trade with a little bit more size as well. But obviously you give up in terms of number multiples, because if you're buying 60K to 150K and it only reaches about 300-400K and then struggles, it's only 3x's, 4x's. Whereas right here on the far left, you get the most multiples. But again, if you're brand new, highly advise starting far right first, and then as you get more experience, then going more towards the left, where it's definitely more harder. You need a lot more skill for that, and speed, by the way. So the Neo BullX link is below, and please let me know in the comment section below if you like these type of walkthrough videos where I'm gonna take my time and go through all of the different features and tools, exactly what they mean, exactly what I look for. Let me know. I'm more than happy to do these longer form videos on the channel. Thanks for listening.